In the past year, I've started collecting a bunch of new vintage action figure lines like Playmates Skeleton Warriors and Kenner's Superpowers and Terminator 2 lines, but that doesn't mean I've forgotten the old faithful Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And in today's video, I want to show you guys all the latest Turtles figures that I've been stacking up. What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in. I hope your 2023 is off to an awesome start. Mine certainly is. I just cracked 1,000 subs here on YouTube, which is awesome. I'll touch on that at the end of this video, but I don't want to muck around. I want to rip straight into the action figure goodness. Like I mentioned, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of my vintage TMNT action figure pickups that I've got my hands on since my last Turtles pickups video sometime last year, aside from the ones that you would have already seen in my toy hunting videos. Now, the goal of the TMNT action figure collection for me remains the same. I'm trying to complete all of those figures from 1988 to 1992, focusing much more on the figures than the vehicles and trying to get them all complete. With that said, I've broken my rule for the first figures that I'm going to be sharing with you today. When it comes to 1993 and beyond, I'm cherry picking where I love the figures and I need to get my hands on them. I'm not trying to complete those waves, but we've got some 1993 figures that I could not turn down when the opportunity to pick them up was presented to me, and it's the vintage TMNT Universal Monsters figures. So let's look at those first up. Now, first up in the Universal Monsters wave of TMNT figures, we've got Donatello as Dracula. Now, I did show these guys briefly in my recent live stream where Matt from Keep On Collecting and myself looked at our top 5 pickups of 2022, but I still wanted to show them in a little bit more detail in this video so we can look at the figures one by one and have a quick chat about each of them. So first up, we've got Donnie as Dracula, and I love this figure. I managed to pick him up complete with his staff, his little wooden stake, his wrist accessory, and this child-sized medallion, which is a bit of a weird accessory because I'm not too sure how many kids would have actually bought this figure and worn this medallion, but it's still pretty cool, and I'm happy to have it complete in the collection. I love the classic depiction of Dracula, love the glow-in-the-dark paint apps, awesome accessories, and just a very, very cool figure. So first up, really happy to have Donnie as Dracula complete in the collection. Next up in the 1993 Universal Monsters series, we've got Raph as the Mummy. I love this figure. He's not quite complete. Unfortunately, he's missing his little dagger accessory, but the fact that he's got his 2 Cobra size and this little scarab beetle ring or wrist accessories I have it set up here, I'm really happy with that. The figure is 90% glow in the dark, utilizing that awesome matte finish glow in the dark paint deco. Unfortunately, my version of Raph as the Mummy is a little bit worse for wear. He's got a ton of paint rubs on him, which might not be showing up that clearly now, but particularly in the dark, when the glow in the dark play feature is activated, you can really see those. And the fact that it's that unique matte finish glow in the dark paint makes me really hesitant to hit this figure with the magic eraser like I normally would. So if anyone has any ideas to clean this guy up without stripping that glow in the dark paint, let me know. For now, I'm happy with what I've got in this version of Raph the Mummy. So another awesome Universal Monsters figure for the collection. Next up, another wicked Universal Monsters figure. We've got Mike as Frankenstein, and this figure is awesome. He feels quite a bit bigger than the other figures in this Universal Monsters series. I love the posture. I love the head sculpt. You know, it's just a really classic depiction of Frankenstein's monster in turtle form, and I think it looks awesome. The glow-in-the-dark paint is used to accent the bolts and the stitches, which, you know, brings out those features in the dark and just looks incredible. And once again, we've got awesome accessories. I'm missing a couple in the form of a torch and a nunchuck, but the 2 accessories that I have here on Mikey as Frankenstein are awesome. The shackle that looks like it's been torn out of a dungeon wall, and the little beaker that's overflowing with, like, you know, bubbling liquid is just incredible. So really happy to have Mikey as Frankenstein in the collection. And last of all, in the 1993 TMNT Universal Monsters series, we've got this guy right here, Leo as the Wolfman, another awesome figure with lots of great detail. I love the texture of the fur in the sculpt, the awesome canine style rear legs and feet, We've got a rip shirt that's covered in that glow-in-the-dark paint deco to bring out those details. We can see the turtle shell peeking out behind the rip shirt, so that's incredible. Unfortunately, this guy is also a little bit worse for wear. He's got some paint rubs and the back of his bandana has snapped off, but that's okay. I'm still really happy to have him in the collection. Missing, again, quite a few accessories. He came with a pistol, he came with a cane and a trap. I'm missing those. But if you're going to have one accessory on a Leonardo figure, you want to have this signature katana, and this is an awesome monster version with the bone handle and spider webs and a spider crawling on the katana blade. So that's awesome. Now when I picked up this lot, this Leo also came with this Karma weapon. I don't believe it comes with this figure, but it came in the lot, and I'm just displaying it with this guy until I can find the other accessories. So I'm really happy to have those 4 Universal Monsters figures in the collection. They display awesome. Now, one thing that's kind of frustrating from a collector's standpoint with that series of Universal Monsters figures is the fact that I've seen them come with that orange shade of weapon, also purple, red, blue, maybe other colors. Like, I've seen a lot of different colors of accessories come with those figures. Now, I'm really happy that all of the accessories that came with those 4 Universal Monsters figures are orange, because it looks great on display, but it just means that for me to find the missing accessories, the 1 missing Raph accessory, the 2 that are missing from Mike as Frankenstein, and maybe 3 from Leo as the Wolfman, I've got to find them in orange, which is going to be a real headache. I think those accessories, I don't really come across them very often in any color, but to specifically try to search them down in orange is going to be a tricky one, but I know it'll do my head in to have those figures displayed with a mix of different color accessories. So anyway, the search will continue for those. I'm not holding my breath, but like I said, I'm grateful to have that lot on display, and they look awesome for now, and it's just going to be a bonus when eventually I can find those missing accessories.
3, 2, 1.
Hey there, sports dudes! In football, TD Toss and Leo's making sure the Foot aren't having a ball. And in wrestling, we find Shell slamming Mike pinned by his python. More Sewer Sports All-Stars coming up, but now a word from our sponsor.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Playmates, dudes!
Next up, let's talk some 1991 Sewer Sports Turtles with a couple of figures that I picked up from one of the Australian TMNT collectors Facebook groups. First of all, we've got TD Toss and Leo here. He's not quite complete. He's missing his pizza slice tee, but he's got all of his other accessories. He's got this awesome turtle shell textured helmet, and I love the head sculpt here with the missing teeth. That's awesome. And then we've got his 2 football accessories. So we've got one kind of standard American football, and we've got one here with fins like a Nerf ball. And these little football accessories are very cool. They have little peg holes in them. The figure's right hand has a little peg there so the balls can stay in, and like all of the Sewer Sports Turtles, TD Toss and Leo has like a spring-loaded arm play feature. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, just missing 1 accessory, but still a very cool figure and some awesome details like those missing teeth that I mentioned, and we've got his name on the back of the shirt. So TD Toss and Leo is in the collection. And next up, we've got this guy right here, Shell Slammin' Mikey, and he is complete. He's got his awesome little pliable, removable cape with that turtle shell texture in it. He's got his championship belt, and he's got this rad little snake accessory here as well. And of the sports turtles, this guy's my favorite. I was a big wrestling kid growing up. I was big into the WWF, and this feels like a nod to that 90s period of wrestling, that early 90s period of wrestling, with the snake accessory being a nice little nod to one of my childhood favorites, Jake the Snake Roberts. Like I said, he's complete. I've also got the complete Grand Slam and Raph, so really, aside from Leo's pizza tee accessory, I really just need the Slam Dunk and Donnie figure, so I have those first 4 turtles all in their sports form, and I'll be pretty happy to get that. So another cool one for the collection. Next up, we've got one more figure that I picked up from that same Facebook group, and I'm talking about the 1991 Movie Stars Leo figure. Oh, I love this figure. He's nearly complete, so he's got both of his katana blades, he's got his shield and his little club bat there, and an ooze canister, so he's just missing his ninja stars, so I'll stay on the hunt for those. But I really like these Movie Stars figures. The Movie Stars and the storage shells are probably my favorite versions of the Ninja Turtles in the vintage line. I love the sculpting details, I love the colors, the little texture of the skin, the pliable rubbery limbs are awesome. and also very practical as well, because one thing that I found is it's really tricky to get some of the weapons into some of the gripping hands in the vintage line, but these awesome pliable hands and arms just make it really easy to get accessories in and out of those hands. So another awesome vintage figure for the collection. So I now have Movie Stars Leo and Movie Stars Donnie. So I'm obviously still on the hunt for Mikey and Raph, and those are figures that I'm definitely hoping to get my hands on this year. So really happy to have Movie Stars Leo in the collection. Okay, so speaking of all the different versions of the Turtles that we got in the vintage line, we're getting into some silly territory now with Hose 'em Down Donnie. Hose 'em Down Donnie is complete. He's got his axe, he's got his seltzer bottle fire extinguisher, and his awesome little hydrant accessory with the doggo and the hose. Now, I clearly remember making vintage TMNT pickups videos some time back where I said I'm definitely not going down the road of all these weird gimmicky themed Turtles figures, but what can I say? Obviously collections evolve and goals change, and collecting is a bit of a sickness. You know, you start going down that rabbit hole and you find it difficult to stop. Now, I have put a firm line at 1992 at this point in time. Obviously, I picked up those 1993 Universal Monsters figures, but who wouldn't? But this figure, Hose 'em Down Donnie, is a 1991 release, so he makes the cut, and now I've got him in the collection. And although I do find this a bit silly, it's still a very cool looking figure with lots of nice detail and color and some fun accessories. And when I get the other figures in this line, like Make My Day Leo, I think they're going to display really cool. So still very happy to have Hose 'em Down Donnie in the collection. And next up, I've got a new mutant for the collection with this 1991 Worm figure. And I love this figure. He's got his belt, he's got his hammer accessory, and to me, the themed gimmicky Turtles figures, they're fun, they display nicely as a set when you have them, but the true highlight of Playmates TMNT line for me are these wacky mutant figures. Ridiculous sculpting details, bright colors, and awesome characters. And to me, Worm is a great example of that. He's a sanitation worker, a garbage man that's been mutated with, I have no idea what. He's got tentacles, he's got fur, he's got teeth, so I've got no idea what he's been mutated with, but he is awesome. I'm missing a few accessories, so he's got what's called a porcupounder weapon, a knife, and a bunch of little worms that came with him, which look awesome when you have them hanging out of his mouth, which is articulated. So I'm definitely going to be on the hunt for the accessories that I'm missing to complete Worm, but for now I'm really happy to have him just with a couple of accessories like this, and he's going to look awesome on display. And Worm was a pickup from the Toytacular Facebook group. I've mentioned the Toytacular Facebook group on this channel before. Shout out to Phil for a great deal on this, and definitely go check out Toytacular on Facebook if you're a toy hunter here in Australia. Alrighty, let's bring it home quickly with some upgrades for the collection. First up, 1990s Raph the Space Cadet, complete with his blaster, his knife, his little tubing here, but the thing that I needed this figure for was his domed helmet, the one accessory that seems to often be missing when I see Raph the Space Cadet out in the wild, so really happy to pick this guy up for his helmet. So Raph the Space Cadet is now complete in the collection. Next up, we've got a nice clean storage shell Raph from the 1991 series. He is complete, so he's got his two sai, his boomerang, his mace weapon. He's also got his axe, he's also got his little pizza, and his stars are in the back. So a nice, fresh, complete storage shell Raph. I needed this guy for all of his weapons. I picked up a loose storage shell Raph without his weapons. Not only is this guy complete, but it's a much cleaner figure. One of the cleanest storage shell turtles that I've seen out in the wild. So really happy to have a nice, fresh, complete storage shell Raph in the collection. Next up, a nice new rock and roll Mikey figure, complete with the all-important accessory that I needed for my collection, which is the nunchuck accessory, an accessory that's notoriously prone for breaking. So I picked up this rock and roll Mikey simply just for that nunchuck accessory. The wacky action line I've mentioned before, it's a nostalgic one for me because I had these figures as a kid, but looking at it objectively as a collector compared to the storage shell turtles or the movie star turtles, there's not too much I like about these wacky action figures, but they came out in that 88 to 92 period that I'm collecting. So I need them all complete, and now I have them all complete thanks to that nunchuck. And now the only thing stopping me from having a complete 1989 run is one ace duck grenade. So that's the only thing getting in my way of completing 1989. And last of all, I've got a nice new Rocksteady, complete with his knife, his shield, and his blaster. And I pretty much just picked up this Rocksteady for the blaster accessory, because my Rocksteady that's on display is my childhood version of the figure, and the sight on the blaster has been chipped off, so I needed a nice fresh blaster for that. But with that said, this Rocksteady figure is probably in better condition than my childhood version, so this one might end up going on display. This figure was a pickup from the Freaky Deaky Toys Facebook group, so big shout out to Deke for a great price on this guy. And just like Toytacular, definitely go check out Freaky Deaky Toys on Facebook if you're an Australian vintage or modern toy collector. And with that, I've now got 1988 complete, with the exception of 3 April O'Neil accessories. So I just need April's microphone, her pistol, and her ninja star, and I've got 88 complete. So we're getting there. So there you have it for the latest batch of vintage TMNT action figure pickups. The collection continues to make progress. So like I said, for 1988 and 1989, I'm just a few accessories away from completing those. For 1990, all I need is a pair of Storage Shell Donnie Ninja Stars and one of Mutagen Man's Garbage Guts bits. And then my big thing that I'm searching for the 1990 line is the 2 Mega Mutants, Needlenose and Killer Bee, like I mentioned in that recent live stream with Matt from Keep On Collecting, where we not only ranked our top finds of 2022, but also our wish list for 2023. So the search continues for those items, and also the other figures that I need for 1991 and 1992, but I'm certainly making progress, and I hope you guys are enjoying these sorts of videos where I give these collection updates and share the latest pickups with you. So there it is for another one. Now before I wrap up this video, I just want to thank each and every one of you for your support in getting me to that 1,000 subs mark here on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. I'm incredibly grateful. I want to give some quick shout outs to those that have really flown the flag for this channel. We've got my good mates Matt and Andrew from the YouTube channel Keep On Collecting. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate your support and your friendship. We've also got my Collectors Pack co-host Ryan the Collector Kid. Thank you very much, mate. I also want to thank Luke from Reynolds Reviews, a tremendous bloke, a good mate, and a fantastic channel dedicated to all things Star Wars and Mask, and also increasingly other vintage toy lines as well. So if you're not familiar with Luke, if you're not familiar with Reynolds Reviews, definitely go check out Luke and his channel. I want to thank the Kiwi in Japan himself, Philip Treasures for Trigger. Thank you so much as always, mate. We've got my man Sizdog at Nostalgia Button. Thank you very much for your support, mate. Definitely go check out Nostalgia Button if you're not already familiar with their awesome channel. I want to thank the brothers from across the pond, Scott at Scott's Retro Collectibles, and his brother Simon, who always show love. So thank you boys very much. I also want to thank my new mate, SoCal Shaolin, here on YouTube, an excellent YouTube channel dedicated to toy hunts and vintage toy shop tours. A great bloke, a great channel, and someone who's been supporting me, so I want to thank SoCal Shaolin. Definitely go check out his YouTube channel. And of course, I got to thank my mates Dean and Sarah at Totally Taylor Retro Hunters on Instagram. One of the reasons for the recent bump in subscribers has definitely been the tour of Dean's collection room that I did, so I really appreciate you guys. Special shouts to the Taylor fam. And I'm going to wrap it up because I could just go on and on, but this is just getting ridiculous. So let me once again just thank each and every one of you that watch and support me doing this thing on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've made it this far, you're a dead set champion. I hope to hear from you in the comments. Let me know if you picked up any cool turtle stuff recently. You can also hit us up on Instagram at Crusher Collects. But that's it. There's only one thing left to do, and that is to raise one to you guys. Corona to start the year. We're mixing it up for 2023. Heineken will be back. Let me raise a glass to you guys and say thank you once again. And until next time, cheers.